Hello everyone and welcome to Flower Friday.
Hey there.
My name's Amanda.
I'm Sherry.
And we are the mother-daughter designers at Grace Monroe Home, where we help you transform the ordinary home into an extraordinary home.
That's right. And today we have got a fun new idea that we are doing, and I cannot wait for you all to see it. This is our Inside Out Christmas swag.
That is right, and I am super excited about this. I think it is so neat. And you guys are absolutely going to love this, especially when you see the final product and see it on a door.
That is right.
So come on in, get comfy. We'll show you what we're working with today. First of all, you're going to need some wide ribbon, at least 4 inches. So a 4-inch wide, heavy-duty ribbon.
Yes, and now it does not necessarily have to be wired, but wired to me always holds up better, but it doesn't have to be.
You want it at least 4 inches though.
Yes.
That's very important. And I mean, like, this is not a super expensive ribbon. This is from Walmart. Yep. You can find it anywhere, but you just want to make sure that it's pretty thick.
Yes.
So we're going to be using that. Our theme today is red and white.
Yes.
And then you are going to need some picks of your choice, depending on what style you're going for this. So we've got some greenery, snowy greenery picks, and some some red, glittery picks. I don't think we're going to need all those, but
yes, no, probably not. But we've got those. We've got some little peppermint picks. It just depends on what you want yours to look like. And you can find some cute little picks at Walmart or somewhere like that. You don't have to spend a lot of money for this, but it's going to be adorable.
You're also going to need some wired ribbon to make a bow, or either if you just have 2 bows that you already have made and want to use for this. So for my bow, I'm going to go ahead and use my Bow Dabber bow maker. If you wanted to make one by hand or use a different kind of bow maker, you're welcome to. So I've got my 26 gauge floral wire, and I just made a long piece. I cut a long piece and then just put the 2 ends together, put it in half, and then I'm going to put it right down the center of the Bow Dabber bow maker. I tuck it under and then just sit it right on top. Now I have 3 different ribbons that I'm going to be using for this. I've got a cute Santa Claus ribbon, some peppermint stripe, and then just a 1.5 inch red glitter. My tails are cut at 24 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down into the Bow Dabber and then just make sure that they are even. So you're going to need to make 2 bows for this, 2 bows that are exactly the same. I'm going to start with my widest ribbon. All right. So I'm going to use my Santa Claus ribbon first.
I love this little Santa Claus ribbon.
Now for this, I want to make sure that my pattern side is face down. I put it into my Bow Dabber just like that with about 1 inch over here on my left-hand side. Make a loop. And these are about 6-ish.
5, maybe. Just
5 to 6 inches, depending on how big you want your bow. And then I'm gonna make my second twist and make my second loop. And I don't measure. I just look and eyeball it and make sure they look about even. Twist. And now these loops are all the same size, so you just measure it with the one in front of it. Make sure it's even. And where are my scissors? Do you have some scissors?
No, I don't.
Well, here's some.
You got some? Okay.
I'm going to cut off the extra. I do not need that. And now I'm going to add in my peppermint stripe. I'm running out, but I've got a little bit of extra over here, so I might have to use that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put this down into the Bow Dabber again with about 1 inch on my left-hand side, and I'm going to step down about 1 inch from the Santa Claus ribbon. So about 1 inch shorter. I have enough for a whole loop.
No, I don't think so.
I'm running low on this ribbon, and this is some of my favorite right now.
I love this ribbon. That is from Craft Outlet. So cute.
Yeah, let me pull these up and make sure they're. All right, so I'm going to add in some more. Again, I'm going to put my pattern side face down, and hopefully I have enough for 2 more.
Yeah, I don't know. You may have to make those a little bit smaller.
Nope.
Maybe
Just look at that.
Look at that. Just
Perfect.
enough. That is just
Perfect.
enough.
And now I'm going to add in some of the red glitter. This is 1.5 inch wired. I'm going to put it in the same way, but I'm going to step down about another inch on this one. And I'm just going to do 2 loops of this one. Okay. So this is what it looks like here in the Bodabra. Now I'm going to take it out. So you always want to make sure you've got your thumb right there in the center. I've got my fingers through the loop and I'm pulling up on the 2 ends. Now the thing is, you always want to make sure that you're creating that tension. So you're pushing down on the ribbons as you're pulling up. Put those 2 ends through the loop and wiggle back and forth. Now I'm going to open the 2 ends, tighten it, make sure it's tight, and flip it around back. But this is where it gets a little different. So instead of twisting the ribbon for this one, because we're going to put it on a different way, I'm going to tie a knot. Actually, I'm going to tie 2 knots. So I'm going to tie a knot, make sure it's tight, and then I'm going to tie it in another knot. Okay, and now I'm going to fluff just like I would normally. So just fluff out the loops and get them looking nice and fluffy.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so we have this bow made, and actually I have all my other ones pre-made. So
have
2
you already
for this
cut
one.
off the
I have not cut the wire off yet. I guess I can go ahead and do that. So now, this is where it's different too. You're going to cut the wire off. We're not even going to use it. Just make sure you don't cut all the way down to the knot, but cut it off so it's just a little bit showing, and then just tuck that, kind of twist that around and lay it flat. So I have 2 bows, and then she has her 2 bows.
I've got my 2 bows.
Now we're going to...
Now, with this, you just want to cut a long piece, 72 inches. And so that's what we already have done. And then we've just got it kind of folded so that we've got both, we can see both sides here, because we're going to be working on both sides of this ribbon. This ribbon is going to be our swag. So that's what's going to be a little different from this. But so we just make sure that you've got it so that you've got it flat and you can work on your 2 ends here. I guess I'm in here where you can see. All right. So the first thing that we are going to do is I'm going to show you, we're going to have our bows here on the bottom of this swag, but we want to put those on almost last, not quite last, but we're going to put them on almost last. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to cut some of these off just to have these ready to go, because I don't want them on this big piece here. So I'm just going to cut some of those off. And now you can use any picks from, you know, anywhere. Dollar Tree may even have some that you can use, but you just need some kind of glitter picks or whatever you like. So I've got those, and I've got some little white ones, and then I've got these little picks that they did have pine cones on them. These are from Walmart, and they had little pine cones on them, but I took the pine cones off because I knew you weren't going to see those, and I didn't want them on there. So I have just taken those off, so we're going to use a couple of those. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting some of my red picks. I'm just going to pull off the bottom leaves so that I have a little stem down here, and I can dip them in my glue, and I'm just going to take them. I'm going to leave, let me see how much space that is, just to start with the top. I'm going to go about 6 inches up from the bottom of each of my pieces and just put this piece right in the center, and I'm just gluing it.
I will
just
say,
like that.
We're using our Grace Monroe glue skillet. You can use a glue gun if you want to,
Yes.
but you are going to want to come up the stem some, not just the small stem. You're going to want to come up a little bit.
Yes. In fact, I'm going to use my little stick here and put a little on the back just to make sure it is glued. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. And that's why I've got them side by side, because I want to keep those as even. If they're off a ½ inch or so, it's not going to matter. Trust me, when you get it all together, it's not going to make any difference. But I'm just going to use my little stick and put a little on the back of that one.
I got mine one a little higher than the other, but that's
yeah,
okay.
It doesn't matter. Like I said, you're not even going to be able to see that. So I've got that one. So now I want to put one of my big ones here. And I'm just going to leave that stem long, and I'm just putting the stem in there. Now I'm also going to put some more, but I'm going to bring this one down just a little bit because I want that red one coming out from the top, just like that. So I'm going to add a little bit of my glue. And of course we're going to let all of these dry so that we make sure they're glued on just like we need them.
Yeah, make sure you use plenty of glue for this. This is one where you're not going to want to
Actually, I have to put this one on. Oh, don't be glued yet. I put it on backwards. So I got to turn it back around. But that's okay. Fortunately, I can just pull it right off and put it back on. There we go.
I'm just going to hold this down just a minute. And
yep, that's what I'm doing. And then I'm just kind of moving some of my little pieces around.
Y'all are going to be so just shocked at how easy this is.
Yes, you really are.
And how cute it looks.
Yep, and don't worry about you've got glue here or there. That's not going to matter because you're not going to see that part. Our bows are going to be there, so we're not going to see it. I'm going to put one of my little white ones right down in here on one side of my little red one like that. And I'm just going to kind of lift that up just a tad, but not, you've got to be careful because you don't want to pull it loose. So I'm just going to put one over to the side. And don't worry if you've got, you know, the picks kind of hanging out. We're going to go cut all of those bottoms off when we finish. So I'm just putting one on one side and one on the other. And then I'm coming here and I just kind of scoot it up under. Just like that on that side. And then on this side. Now I think I want one more red at the top. So I'm going to have that just a little higher. Because I thought I had that one down a little too low. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Just like that.
Y'all are going to be just shocked at how simple this is.
You really are. You really, really are. Okay. I'm going to put one more white one. Just kind of right in the center there. This one right in the center as well. There we go. So this is how I've got it. We've just kind of got them on. You see the stems, so any that are hanging off, you can just take your cutters and just cut off. so that they're not hanging off of the your ribbon. But if they're on, as long as they're on the ribbon, we're good. Okay, so we're going to put one more of our little picks. Just going to take that one little leaf off. But this one, we're going to turn it, like you see, Amanda, we're turning it this way. So I'm just going to bring that just like that. We're going to let it hang down past where our ribbon is just a little bit. Just like that. And so I'm going to do the same thing with this one.
And you can use whatever greeneries.
Yes, any kind of greenery picks that you want to use are going to be fine. Now I'm just going to use my stick. I want to make sure these are glued on real well. So I'm just adding some more glue to the backs just to make sure we don't want them coming off. Okay, so that is, we've got those on there. So now let's put our bows. So we're going to take our bows and they're going to go right here in the center of each leg of our tail. But we're going to, we cut the wire off because we're actually going to glue these. So I'm just going to put a good dollop, is that what you call it? Of glue right there.
Sounds good.
I'm just going to put a good little dollop right there. And then while I hold it there a minute, then I'm just going to kind of arrange my ribbons, make sure I've got those just like I want them. Okay, and I can do the same thing with the second one.
I did not cut my wires off with this one, so I'm going to go ahead and cut these wires off.
Yeah. I'm just going to move that out of the way here so that I can get that right where I want it. Bring that one up here so it can dry better.
Make sure you, like we said, add a good
good dollop.
It reminds me of that commercial, dollop of daisy.
Dollop
of daisy.
Give me a dollop of daisy or something, something to that effect.
You want a dollop. Alright, so I'm going to hold that down and make sure it gets on there.
Just make sure it's on there.
And you may have to bring them side by side and make sure that they're even.
But they don't have to be perfect, so if they're off a little bit, you're not going to be able to tell it, and you'll see why when you see the finished product. So don't concern yourself if they're not perfect. Now, we've got our other little picks, and we've got our little balls that are going to go in the center of our ribbon. But let's get our little picks here. And you can use these, you don't have to use these. You know, it's just whatever you want. We just thought they were cute. So
yeah, if you wanted to make it kind of like traditional, you could use berries.
Yes.
And, you know, just the pine greenery, that would be pretty too, with plaid ribbon. I think that would be really pretty.
It would. So I'm just going to put some glue on that, and I'm just going to push it up under where my bow is.
Kind of all just glues itself together.
Yep. Let's see, make sure I've got those
That's how it folds.
There we go.
And I put one on the bottom as well of mine.
Yep.
I realize one of mine has 4. I'll just cut one.
Oh yeah, you can just cut them apart. It's just the way they were cut apart, so that is fine. I think I'm just gonna cut that middle part and use it on the bottom. And these little picks, if you're wondering, these actually came from Craft Outlet. Yeah, but any, like we said, you can use any little picks that you wanted. Anything would work.
I like the peppermint swirls. We've used those.
Yes, I think these are so cute. Okay, now we're going to take our little ornament. And I'm literally just putting glue right on the bottom and gonna stick it right in the center of my bow.
Make sure you get your ribbons where you want them.
Yeah, put them right where you want them, because once this dries, it'll be too late. Okay, now one of my bows, there it is. I was fixing to say I can't find one of my bows.
So if you'll move your ribbons around the ball, then you can get it where
you
want it. Get it to stay where you want it to stay.
And these you could do, you know, if you wanted to get even more elaborate, you could put a poinsettia on them. You could put, you know, just any number of things.
You could do the little curlies if you wanted to. They would be cute.
They would be cute. Now you've got the little curlies. I don't know that I am gonna, I don't think I'm gonna use them, but they are cute. I think I do want to put a few more of my little red ones. I want one of these to go down on the bottom. So I'm just gonna take that and just push that in, just right in there. Get one more.
So
they can actually pick it up. Hopefully nothing will fall off.
Hopefully it's dry enough. You may want to leave yours laying for just a little while.
Yes. So hopefully mine won't fall apart. But this is what they look like. And it goes over the door, so you have one on one side of your door and the other on the other side. And because they're thin with the ribbon, they won't, you know, stop it from closing or anything like that.
This is, I mean, really, this is just the perfect idea.
It is.
I mean, you're decorating both sides of your door. It's super lightweight, so you want to keep that in mind when you're choosing your greenery.
Yes.
Try to keep something,
very
lightweight, or
lightweight.
use something lightweight because you don't want it super heavy. But I mean, so it's lightweight. It is cute and festive, and
Yeah.
it's really simple to make.
Very simple. How cute are they?
And stay tuned, because we're going to show you what it looks like on the door.
Yes, yes we are. But aren't they just precious? And you can do, like we said, any, you know, find a ribbon. Let me show you one. This one is a beautiful red and gold. This again was from Walmart. That would be gorgeous to do with gold accents and red accents. I mean, any kind of wide ribbon would work and would be just beautiful with these. And, you know, a lot of times people, I cannot tell you how many times we've had people want us to do double sided like wreaths and things. And this is perfect because it's not heavy, so they're going to lay good on both sides of your door.
And you can use it indoors,
yes,
and outdoors.
And
so.
you know, have one on the outside of your door and the other on the inside, and that way you've got your door decorated from both coming and going.
That's right. So this is our inside out Christmas swag. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have questions, let us know. Y'all be sure to join us in Design with the Pros Club if you're not already a member. And check out our blog at gracemonroehome.com for tons of DIY tutorials.
That's right. And make sure to like this video, and if you're on YouTube, hit the little bell so you get notified, and make sure to subscribe. We are here every Friday at 4 o'clock.
Yep, so we'll see you next Friday.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.